Narcissists have a way of treating you better than anyone ever has, yet worse than anyone ever has, leaving you more confused about who they are and what's happened to you, living in hope they'll be the person they claimed themselves to be, and in desperation walking on eggshells in order not to set them off into the person they turned out to be. Yet no matter what you do to try and please them, it never seems enough for them, and they always turn it around and blame everything on you. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support with the channel. If you are new to the channel, this channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder, to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with in your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you overcome narcissistic abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. This video is about the narcissist black and white thinking. When it comes to a narcissist, without any seemingly rational reason, they are fast to go from 1 minute being so seemingly nice and treating you so right to suddenly treating you so wrong, while you're trying to work out what's happened, what's upset them, what you've done to hurt them. As narcissists turn on their admiration-seeking face when they are seeking attention and turn off the envious face to hide their negative side. Then off their admiration-seeking face as they feel envious or they feel criticised. They can turn silent or rage towards you in an instant as they split from good to bad, black to white, never any in between or grey area, while they take all the credit for theirs and your good and pass all the blame for theirs and your mistakes over to you, as to them that's your bad and not their problem. A narcissist can go from seemingly knowing you better than anyone ever had, enjoying all the things you do, loving you so much, wanting all the same things as you, to finding yourself unable to communicate with them, no matter how hard you try, how many different ways you try to state your point, explain yourself, asking them what's wrong, trying to help them. They just don't seem to get it, as the switch from being loving you so much to hurting you so badly, from hating you to then loving you and straight back to hating you. 1 minute you can be sat with them having a conversation filled full of laughter, full of fun and happiness and joy. Then one wrong move and they've changed right in front of you, leaving you feeling confusion, hurt, anger, sadness, pain, constantly swapping from pleasure to pain, emotional highs to emotional lows, love to hate, while you're trying to work out what's happening, creating that trauma bond, cognitive dissonance, anxiety and rumination within you. 1 minute a narcissist is great, full of smiles towards you, planning the perfect future with you. The next, without any warning, they rage at you or fall silent on you. Those devaluing comments, those insults, criticism, judgment, claiming you have feelings you don't have, or the feelings you do have are in some way wrong. Those glares, those sulks, and those silent treatments. Suddenly gone is all the affection, attention and support, and all you're left with is silence, anger, rage, aggression. You're left feeling frustrated and confused and hurt. The trauma it causes our psychological and our emotional health at the speed in which they change how they are towards us leaves us confused. It leaves us in utter bewilderment, frustration, anger, full of fear and questioning so much about ourselves and what we did wrong, often through fear and the trauma bond. We become trapped within their cycle. 1 minute you can be chatted away, even laughing. The next they are raging, invalidating, or they fall completely silent, which then leaves us asking them, what's wrong? What have I done? How can I help? Which they often respond with the response that makes no sense to us at all. their word salad, their denial, their deflection, projection, blame shifting, gaslighting, or with no response and just more silences, leaving us questioning what just happened, what did I do? Narcissists will always find a way to blame us, so we work harder to please them while they gain further control over us. They often gaslight to convince us that our emotional reactions to their behaviour are the problem, distracting us from the fact that their behaviour is the problem. They sell themselves to be somebody and they are not that person. And then they accuse us of trying to change them when we are not trying to change them. They changed on us. We are trying to get back the person we originally met, the person they sold themselves to be, the person who they are not. 1 minute you can be talking nicely with them, the next out of nowhere they raise their voice, they punch a wall, and out comes a barrage of verbal abuse, leaving us trying to defend ourselves, explain ourselves, calm them down, justifying ourselves to them, all while we are wondering what on earth just happened. When you ask them to get clarity of the situation and what's just happened, it'll just irritate them all the more. The more we try to understand them, the more we try to help them, the more it seems to escalate the situation. We want to help those we care for. We want to understand what's happening with those we care for, and we want to be understood, while they just want to provoke us more. They just want to get us going. They just want us playing straight into their hands so that they can bait us into feeling anger, so they can bait us into reacting to them, so that they can then play the victim and blame our reactions as to being what's wrong with them. They can say things like, "That's just like you. No one understands me. Deal with it. You should just know what's wrong," just before they punch a wall, smash a plate, throw their food, slam a door, stomp off and sulk. And they will expect us to clean up after them, and then they'll come at us with, "If you hadn't." So why, without any reason, do they change so incredibly fast? The narcissist black and white thinking, known as splitting, is their common defense mechanism, leaving them with an inability to bring together positive and negative qualities. They think in extremes of everything. Everything is either all good to them or everything is all bad to them, with no middle ground. The narcissist splitting causes difficulty in them maintaining healthy relationships, as they either see something as pleasing them when we're doing everything they want us to do and everything is all good. However, when a narcissist isn't happy, ain't nobody gonna be happy. And when a narcissist isn't happy, that's always someone else's fault. You don't need to do anything wrong. However, if a narcissist is happy, that will be your fault, and to them you are now bad. With a narcissist self-defense mechanism, as they see themselves as perfect above others, to remove any feelings of inner shame for their negative behaviour, they project onto those around them, or they bait others into reacting to the narcissist. They can then split. They can then see themselves as the victim or the hero, while they smear you to be the toxic one. They're not interested in the bigger picture. They're only interested in creating an environment of where they are right and you were in the wrong. That self-entitled hypocrite. They don't make mistakes. However, when they do, that will be your fault. As to a narcissist, you make all the mistakes. Why they believe you should make it up to them for the things that they are doing to you. Why they gaslight with such truth-telling lies, as many believe their own lives. Within their own mind, their story is their story. Their reality is their reality. Our view of relationships, communication and reality are so completely different from a narcissist. They've just manipulated us into a false reality through their love bombing, their idolization, their mirroring, their future faking, for us to now live in their false reality which is both nightmare and fairy tale. They take us into that false reality that is the narcissist world, where we live the fairy tale, we live the fantasies of what the narcissist would like, and we are led to believe it's true. And then when things aren't going their way, our lives turn into a living nightmare. What happens to us when around narcissists makes no sense, yet as we try to understand them and to make sense of it all, it keeps us trapped, yet it makes complete sense to the narcissist. Because with a narcissist, they might suddenly remember something you said 2 weeks ago that criticised them in some way, and they will have flicked that switch at that time as they've been reminded in some way that they're not perfect. So they flick it again. When they rage, it appears to draw more attention and more sympathy, more emotions from you, or they could simply believe you weren't giving them enough attention. You exposed a negative trait of theirs, a negative behaviour of theirs. You didn't put their needs before your own. You didn't listen to how they like their meal prepared, the time they wanted to eat it. You might not have been laughing hard enough at their joke. You didn't laugh loud enough. You didn't laugh long enough. Therefore, you failed to provide for the narcissist, failed to provide whatever they feel entitled to at that moment. They take this as criticism and as a challenge. You may have complimented them on one thing, but as you didn't compliment them on what they wanted to be complimented on, then they take it as criticism. They take it as a challenge. They feel a need to pull you down to feel better about themselves. However, opening up about how they feel would mean being vulnerable, admitting to you and themselves that they are not perfect, that they have insecurities, and that they only want to play the victim if they can exploit someone. They don't want to show weakness, as to them they're not weak, you are. Often we have no clue as to what caused them to react towards you. They'll not have a two-way conversation to communicate how they feel. They'll just reduce you to tears and gain those emotional reactions, also to gain more power and gain more control. Because of their narcissism, they'll shift and alter depending on how they feel in that moment and what they take as criticism. What we do well for them last week might not work next week, as it's nothing to do with what we do and everything to do with who they are. Splitting is their self-defense, and they have to do it fast to confuse you, to gain reactions from you, blame you, criticize you, to feel better about themselves, get control and power over the situation and over you. You were never the problem. It did not start with you. It will not end with you. You can break free and move on to a much happier life for you. I shall add in the description the video on why narcissists like to argue and why we need to stop explaining ourselves to narcissistic people. I am currently full for one-to-one coaching. I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link will also be in the description. I do have several online courses which are just step-by-step guides to help you understand and overcome narcissistic abuse, if you'd like to take a look at those. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any thoughts on the narcissist splitting, please do add those into the comments. Thank you very much for listening. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.